Hi, everybody. This is January 30th, 2024. It's been 505 days since my brother's group home L'Arche terminated our visits, our twice weekly visits. So I've got a big day coming up on Monday, February 5th. That's going to be my appeal of the decision appointing my 81-year-old nun sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, my brother's guardian, and she had terminated my visits with Paul. L'Arche demanded on September 12th of 2022, L'Arche wrote her and demanded that she permanently terminate my visits with Paul. She doesn't know Paul. She left home, moved into her convent, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Sault Ste. Marie in North Bay, Ontario, shortly after Paul was born. So I don't remember growing up with her. She's a stranger to me. She's a stranger to Paul. She doesn't understand his speech. But anyway, so today I was very busy getting ready for my appeal. I'm representing myself. I'm not a lawyer anymore. I haven't been a lawyer since January of 2016, so 8 years ago. But I'm representing myself against the public guardian and trustee of BC, who have hired an outside lawyer, and against my sister's lawyer, who she's got two law firms, one in Ottawa and one in Vancouver. I estimate they've spent, and this is just my guesstimate, about $350,000 on this fighting so my application to be appointed the guardian or the committee of my brother. So today I got a phone call this morning from Plan, which is a group, it's capital PLAN. It stands for, just hang on a second. It's a Planned Lifetime Advocacy Network. It's a group, it's a non-governmental agency, which is a group that's supposed to support people with disabilities. And one of the lawyers who called me back, Laura Johnston, who did a very good job on the case, similar to mine, called me back and she recommended that I contact these people. So I asked them if they could recommend, if they could help in any way. And, I think I've exhausted every possible resource for disabled people to fight this isolation, forced isolation and termination of my brother's visits against his will. And I haven't been able to find everybody. When I spoke with the woman at this network, this Plan network, she sounded terrified, to be honest. Her voice was shaking. And she said there were no resources there that could help us. The only thing that she recommended was that there's a form on the government website that you can fill out and make a complaint. And she said you should go and fill out that form and make the complaint. So what I've been doing every day since November 17th, I've been writing a letter of complaint to the government and dropping it off by hand at their office and having them stamp it received every single business day since November 17th. But what I did today was I completed the complaint form against the government, and I had them stamp that. So I took the SkyTrain and the bus out to Port Moody, where my brother's file is, and I go in there and I have them stamp the form. And I do that to show that I'm ready, willing, and able to visit with my brother. And then when I got back, I completed these books. I bound these books for my appeal. And what they are is you have to file big books of evidence. So my big book of evidence is this right here. So I think it's 217 pages. But what I did was I just took the photos I went to Staples and I made color photos. But I made a copy of just the color photos because I just wanted to show the judges. They won't have much time. I'll only have an hour to explain 65 years of being a sister to Paul Kierans and this litigation, which has gone right to the Supreme Court of Canada and back. So I bound 6 of these sets of color photos, and that cost me $156 to just make the copies, and then I bound them like this. And then I also bound 3 copies of, this is a case book. So these are cases, legal cases, where which are similar to mine and have reasons for judgment that support what I'm saying. So the gist of what I'm saying is that the law in British Columbia is clear that no person who is not a resident of BC has ever been appointed a guardian or a committee of a resident of British Columbia. And Paul's been a resident of British Columbia for 34 years, since 1990. So anyways, I just finished binding all of these books. And I'm going to walk over to somebody, my Facebook page, somebody posted a free monitor. So I'm going to walk over tonight and pick up a monitor. But so that's what I did today, is I spoke with this woman at Planned Lifetime Advocacy Network. And like everyone else, she said in a terrified voice that there was nothing she could do to help. Oh, and the other thing is I got an email from the public guardian and trustee of BC saying that they weren't going to help. But I found I did something that if you're ever fighting the government, what you want to do is you want to apply for under the Freedom of Information Act for disclosure of documents, which is what I did. So I found documents that were emails back and forth between my sister's lawyer and the public guardian and trustee's lawyer. They had a very cozy arrangement. And I found an email on right after they terminated my visit. So they terminated my visits on September 12th of 2022. And the next morning, my sister's lawyer wrote the public guardian trustee's lawyer. And when I got disclosure of that document, I could see the email. They had blanked out the whole email, so I can't read it. But I'm sure what the gist of it is some kind of secret deal that they had between themselves. And they've claimed solicitor-client privilege. They blanked out the whole email, even though it was from my sister's lawyer to the public guardian trustee. So it's not legal advice that they got from somebody, because certainly they couldn't get legal advice from my sister's lawyer. And so I got an email from the public guardian trustee today saying that they're not going to. I made a complaint to the Information and Privacy Commissioner in BC, asking that the public guardian and trustee be forced to disclose this email to me, because I'm sure it says a bunch of scurrilous, untruthful things about me, and I want to look at it. And you have a right to look at it. These people are all using taxpayer money to do whatever nonsense they're up to. And you have a right to look at what nonsense they're up to, except for certain very rare exceptions. So what they've claimed is that I'm not entitled to the email from my sister's lawyer to the public guardian trustee's lawyer because it's solicitor-client. It's subject to solicitor-client confidentiality. And I say, no, it's not. So, and I wrote them a letter saying you're stalling and you're obstructing justice. So I've had a very busy day today. I think it was quite productive. Please remember to pray for us. Go to your temple, your gurdwara, your synagogue, your mosque, your church, and pray for us. It's where you're sitting right now. Just say a quick prayer for Kathleen and Paul, that we be reunited. and contribute to our GoFundMe account. I'm probably going to have to renegotiate. I've got a loan for $32,000 that I borrowed to pay for this litigation, and they've Money Mart has offered to renegotiate that and lend me more. So I've got to consider whether I'm going to do that. But you can help by just clicking on that little GoFundMe link and kick in a few dollars. It is gives us a lot of moral support, just to know that people are contributing whatever they can. So pray for us. Click on the GoFundMe link and contribute to our GoFundMe account. And finally, copy and paste the email in I'll put in the description box for this video. And I put a list of bureaucrats, politicians, who have the power with one phone call to restore our visits. We just need some help. You don't know, it could be your email is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And your email, I've got a letter from the government, or an email from the government today saying that my application for disclosure is so voluminous that they want me to narrow it down. So there's so many people have written the government about this, that the government's asking me to narrow down my request for disclosure of documents. So you be the straw that breaks this camel's back and restore my visits with my little brother, Paul Kierans. Paul, I miss you so much. I worked so hard all day for you, dear. And our hearing is next week. Oh, and the other thing, the most important thing is that you can watch this hearing before the Court of Appeal of British Columbia on this very important topic. Just go to the BC Court of Appeal website, and there's a link there that you can click and watch in real time. You can watch from anywhere in the world. If you've got the internet, if you've got Wi-Fi, then you can watch me perform in front of the Court of Appeal, 3 judges in the Court of Appeal of British Columbia. It's going to be a really big deal. Better still, on Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m., come down to 800 Smythe Street in Vancouver and sit in the gallery. It's a very powerful effect on the judge's decisions when they see that there's somebody actually sitting there watching. It's that it's in the public interest for them to make a decision. I think I've got about a 50-50 shot. The main thing that I'm going to ask for is that we have the hearing over again, because I subpoenaed Larsh's witness against me, and she just didn't show up. She didn't let Paul be served with the subpoena, and she didn't show up herself. And there are many other miscarriages of justice in the context of the hearing that I think led to the wrong decision of appointing my 81-year-old nun sister 4,000 kilometers away as my little brother's guardian. So Paul, I've been working hard for you. Take care, dear, and I hope to see you soon.